Welcome to ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast hosted by Victory Lyric. Get ready to be inspired to be all you were called and created to be. Join us as we showcase nationwide artisans and their unique stories. This is your opportunity to explore creativity with diverse crafts, recipes, and tutorials with practical tips for unleashing your artistic side. Let's get ready for spiritual upliftment, healing stories, miracles, and divine goodness. Get ready for an amazing segment of ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast with host Victory Lyric.
This is ArieVive Studios, and we are at Prairie House in Lewisville, Texas, about to see Andrew Plank. I'm so excited.
Kept those at bay. Would not take no more. Have my feel. Stars faded from my eyes. Love for looks that kill.
Welcome to ArieVive Studios. We have an amazing show for you today. We have singer-songwriter Andrew Plank. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So you are out here in Texas, right?
Yes, ma'am. I live in Flower Mound. This is where I lived my whole life, just over by Lewisville, Argyle, that area in North Texas. So
Okay.
play all here and everything. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, Andrew's a special guest today because I have known his mom for like 21 years. We had a small group together in church a long time ago and had a blast getting to know each other, and we've all kind of stayed in touch. So watching Andrew kind of rise up and begin playing music has been super exciting. And we went out to one of his concerts here recently, and everyone really enjoyed that. So we wanted to share him and his music with you guys and a little about his story. And Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in
Yes,
your
ma'am.
journey with music?
Yeah, so actually, I picked up the guitar probably about 2 years ago. Well, I'll go back a little bit first. So probably 3 or 4 years ago, me and my grandpa went pawn shopping together. We used to go pawn shopping all the time together. And I wanted to start getting into guitar. So we picked up a pawn shop guitar at some pawn shop down in Lewisville. And I started trying to learn how to play it. Got pretty frustrating. It's hard to learn. I didn't have anyone teaching me or anything. But about a year later, he ended up passing away. And after that, I mean, I was going through some really hard times and stuff. And I saw my guitar hanging up on the wall. And I remember me and him getting it at the pawn shop. And it kind of created a spark. And I wanted to learn it because it was just something that we got together. So I started picking that up, learning it. And it took a while, but after I started learning it, I started singing and then started writing songs and just kind of kept going from there. So.
Okay. Well, I love that story about your grandfather. When I was little, I baked with my grandmother, and she would let me like try out anything I wanted to in her kitchen and make up recipes and whatnot and test things. And it was a mess, but she allowed me and enjoyed it. And then later, when I was an adult, I became a pastry chef. And I think it was because of the time and the love she invested in me.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful how our grandparents, they don't realize what an effect they make by, just paying attention to your gifts. And clearly he saw a little something in you.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's wonderful. Every time you play, you've got a little piece of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
the first time I ever actually played in front of people, so I don't know if you're familiar with Young Life, but it's like a church group through the school. And
Okay.
a couple summers ago, after I learned the guitar, we had a Young Life meetup at someone's house, and everyone was playing a guitar on the couch and stuff. I started playing, and then all my friends, they've heard me sing before, so they got me up there, and then that was the first time I ever played. Probably like 50 kids at that little church group, and that's what kind of started everything. Started me playing with people. So.
And were you nervous, or was it natural for you?
I was really nervous that day. I mean, first time I've ever played in front of more than just my family, and I kind of got forced into it, but I'm glad I did because I don't know if I'd even be playing shows if it wasn't for that day. So.
Okay. So you're playing shows right now.
Yes, ma'am.
We did go to one of those. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I guess I started playing shows probably about a year ago.
Okay.
Started at my buddy's restaurant in Highland Village called Awesome Times. He owns that place. His family does. So I talked them into letting me play there. Had my first show there. After that, I started reaching out to some other local venues and such, and started playing there. And ever since, I've just been, playing almost every weekend, and I love it. So
Okay, wonderful.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so what kind of goals do you have for the future as far as your music goes?
Yeah. So some of my goals, like I wanna start branching out a little bit more, playing some further places from home. Get my name out there. Start playing at some bigger venues that just more well-known venues and such. And
Mhm.
I want to release some music here soon, so that's one of my big goals for this year.
Okay, so we might be hearing you on Spotify
Yes,
and
ma'am.
some other streaming
Yes, ma'am.
services. Oh, I can't wait. That'll be exciting. So you have been writing music.
hmm
Do you write with someone else or do you write on your own?
So I mostly write on my own, but I've been starting to step foot in co-writing with other people. I got a really good buddy named Brett Stair. We've been starting to write songs together. So, I mean,
Okay.
I like both. It's really different co-writing. I feel like it's very new to me. So I'm still learning a lot of stuff about songwriting, but I do a lot of stuff on my own, and then I'm starting to write with other people. So just figuring
Okay.
everything out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how did that feel putting out your own song into the public the first time?
Yeah, I mean, playing my first song for people, it was I guess pretty nervous because when I write my songs, I put my heart into it. So
Mhm.
I was pretty nervous to do that. Just so I've never experienced something like that. Uh, the first few shows I ever had, I was playing other songs, not my songs and stuff. But yeah, I guess I was pretty nervous, but everyone seemed to like it the first time I played my original song, so it just kind of kept rolling like that. And
That's awesome.
yes,
So
ma'am.
tell us, if you were to give some advice to another musician out there that's kind of, and you have a little something special set up for us,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're going to play a little music for us today. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the song that you are going to do?
So this is a song I wrote with my good buddy Brett Stair. This was
Okay.
the first song I ever co-wrote with someone. I didn't just write it by myself. I wrote it with him, and
Okay.
we wrote this one back in August or September, I think. But it's about I actually joined the high school rodeo team this year because I used to play baseball. I quit that, so I joined the high school rodeo team this year. And this song is kind of inspired by the rodeo, but it's basically
Oh,
about a girl that makes you feel like you're on top of the world.
let's hear it.
Called Rodeo Queen. Hey there, blue-eyed sweetie, staring at me. You're sure good looking, wearing spurs and jeans, with gold buckle dreams running cloverleaf straight into my heart. In the songs I sing, we got a pre-go-round tape behind the shoots, and left to party rendezvous. Living life with nothing to lose till you hold me and I'm holding you. It's weekend nights, arena lights, couple of kids who can barely drive. You and me side by side, baby, that's my kind. I'm right where I wanna be. You got me feeling like a king, sitting tall in the saddle with you, my rodeo queen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
so
You
there's a
have
little bit of that. There's a little bit of that song, and that's possibly going to be one of the songs I release this year. So
I think you should. That's a
I'm excited
great
about that.
one. Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
totally gets stuck in your head.
Yes,
Love
ma'am.
it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
And there's a lot of rodeo people who would like it.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
wow. Okay. So that's fun. I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, so what is it that you're doing in the rodeo?
So right now I'm just doing shoot dogging. It's it's kind of like steer wrestling, but just basically just without a horse. And you're in the
Okay.
chute, and you get out on the steer and turn it over. I
Oh,
do the other stuff, but we don't have horses or anything. Someday, hopefully, I'll have some, but that's just what I'm doing for right now. So it's really fun. I'm enjoying it.
okay. And was that something you were familiar with before you joined the team?
No, ma'am, it's not.
No.
I've always wanted to do rodeo, and someone at my school started up a rodeo club team thing for Marcus, and a perfect opportunity. So I just decided to join it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good for you. You're like the most brave. I love it. Okay. Well, did you want to talk to us a little bit about any of the lyrics in the song? I love to talk about lyrics.
Yeah.
And yeah, was there anything specifically inspirational to you that you wanted to talk about
I
on
mean,
that?
yeah, for sure. In the chorus, I kind of talk about, I say weekend nights, arena lights, a couple of kids who can barely jive. I really like that line. It's
Hmm.
just talking about young love, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's not a whole lot of singer songwriters who are my age, so I really like putting stuff in there like that. That it's. I feel like it's got a really youthful feel to the song, and I just love singing that to people. I just feel like it's really cool. It's a really happy song, fun song, and
Yeah.
I like the youthful feel of it. I
I
mean,
do too.
I'm still a kid, but I feel like that. It,
No, it
it's
does
cool.
have that youthful feel, but it's also all inclusive,
Yeah,
it's like because those songs do have memories for certain
hmm
moments.
for
And then
sure.
sometimes we have certain moments and we hear a song and it reminds us of those moments from the past,
Hmm.
as well as a song bringing back a moment from that point in time. So I think that it's definitely, a good memory type of song as
Yes, ma'am.
well for any age.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I love it, and you have such a nice, like, just soothing, calm voice. I love
Well, thank you so much.
it.
Appreciate it.
Well, so I know that you and I are both excited about our next segment,
Hmm.
and that is our victory point of view. So you have a little story that you'd like to tell us about a moment that God did something amazing in your life. A you would not believe story is what we like to call them. So tell us, go ahead and tell us what you would, what you have in mind.
Yeah, so I'll kind of talk about my testimony, I guess. I've been talking a lot about my grandpa for sure. That was really a turning point in my life. So from a young age, I've always been raised in a Christian household, and my parents have done great on bringing that upon me. We always go to church and everything. And for kind of my whole life up until I'd say middle school, I was kind of close with God, not really. I'd kind of call on Him whenever I was going through hard times, and then I'd kind of forget about Him when everything was fine in life. But when my grandpa passed away, I think it was eighth grade year. Things really started to get hard after he passed away. He was my best friend. We'd always hang out together. We'd go hunting together, and that was really tough on me. So eighth grade year after he passed away, I started going down a really bad route. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, wrong friends at school, just doing bad stuff. And I mean, it was really hard. I mean, I was not close with God, not close with my family. I was angry all the time, and it got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. I was running from God. I was living in darkness, and I don't remember when it was, but there was one night where just a wave of calmness came over me, and I felt God in me. I felt God putting His hand on me, and that was really a turning point. And I've been just living everything bad for probably about 4 or 5 months, and it was just miserable. But when I felt God put His hand on me, and I started really digging in, started going to church more and stuff, and just really focusing on God, and that kind of became a turning point in my life. And ever since then, I've been walking strong with God, and it's been really neat. I mean, it's so joyful now with God, and it's just everything's changed really. So,
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I love that
yes,
story.
ma'am.
I think that oftentimes when we've walked with the Lord for a long time, we kind of forget, like your story
Hmm.
right now. You said, I would pray or whatever, and then I would forget about him. But when you're walking presently with the Lord, you sometimes forget that other people, before you make your own personal choice, when it's your parents' choice, it's it's still your parents' choice.
Yeah.
They can input as much into you as they would like, but there comes a moment when you have to come into your own relationship with the Lord. And so I think we all have those moments,
Yes, ma'am.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love that yours is, while you're young and before you obviously, take off in a large way with your music and have so much swirling all around you. It's wonderful to have that grounding presence of God, no matter what you face.
Yes, ma'am.
I know I do worship leading and I'm
Mm-hmm.
newer to worship leading, and I will have some serious stage fright. I don't know if you've had some serious stage
I
fright.
sure have, yeah.
But for me, there are those moments when I'm up there and I feel like, oh no, I'm gonna have that thing happen where your throat closes on you. No, the sound's not wanting to come out. And so I'll just like breathe deep and ask the Lord, ask the Holy Spirit to sing for me, sing through me, like because I know I'm about to go down on my own. And I'm sure there will be moments like that, or maybe you've had those already, where you're like, oh, Lord, come and sing through me. Have you had those kind of stage fright,
I
scary
have.
moments?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, whenever I'd get up there, I'd be just shaking and I'd be really nervous. And
Mhm.
sometimes it feels like you can't even get words out, and you just kind of got to take that leap. And I pray before my shows, ask God to just work through me and
Mhm.
give me confidence and everything. But it definitely tough starting out. I got stage fright all the time. I was scared, but luckily
So,
I got
okay, so
over
you
that.
get me. You do
I
it
still
too.
I still get nervous sometimes, but it's not as bad. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I
yeah,
think it also depends on the audience,
it does.
like if I step up there and there's not very many people, I feel a whole lot more nervous than if the room is
No,
full for some reason.
same. I've always wondered that. I mean, if there will be sometimes where there's just 10 people in there, and I get nervous, and then sometimes it's packed out, and I don't know why that works like that, but that's how it seems. It is sometimes.
Yeah, right? It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, well, before we kind of close up everything and finish our interview, can you tell me how our viewing audience can find you and, follow you or where you're going to be, even locally for right now?
hmm Yeah. So you guys can find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find me at andrew.plank.music on all those apps, and on there
Awesome.
I'll post my all my shows around the area and stuff, and then I'll play some music on there and keep you guys updated on everything. So
Wonderful. Yeah, and keep us updated when you're out there, you've put your music out there so that we
mhm,
can definitely, listen in. And I think that it's going to be really nice for, our audience to get to know you and then
mhm.
follow you as you grow. So I'm excited to see what God's going to do in your life because I know that it's going to be something special. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Andrew, for being here. I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
enjoyed getting to know you and getting to listen to your music. And we'll also put the links in the description so that our audience can also follow you. Well, welcome back. I am your host, Victory Lyric, and this is the Victory Point of View. And today I'm going to share a little bit about what I've been experiencing this week. And I hope that you guys will feel super encouraged by the way the Lord sort of walked me through it. And hopefully, this will help you in your journey as well. But I will tell you guys that I have been so drained and exhausted. I breed Great Danes and French Bulldogs, but I have two litters of Great Danes. One litter that's going home this week, and the other litter that's newborn. And when you have newborn Great Danes, you've got a giant mama that's about 150 pounds or more, and a puppy that's about a pound and a half. And so you don't sleep through the night because you're busy hopping up every time you hear a peep and making sure mama didn't accidentally step on them or roll onto them, that kind of thing. And I will tell you that without sleep, it's like having, 8 newborns. Without sleep, you most certainly have a small amount of coping skills But I've had other things happen this past week. I had electric issues that prevented me from being able to use my washer and dryer, which was a huge problem, being as how I have new puppies. And then I had to have an electrician come out and redo the box and all of that. In addition, I had my truck. It's new and its turbo engine seems to have freaked out. And so I almost didn't make it home from a drive in the country to a friend's house. And then I have had oh gosh, I mean just incredible amounts of craziness. Oh, had to put down one of my French bulldog puppies to a fluke situation, something even the vet couldn't figure out. And it has just been up and down and no sleep and emotional turmoil. In addition, we have launched the show and I'm in process of writing my book. So I've just had a ton on my plate. And I was sitting there talking to my aunt actually, and I told her, gosh, I mean, I do not know what is wrong with me and why I cannot seem to sit down and finish writing my book. What is my problem? And she so kindly reminded me that I was talking to myself in such a negative way, a way that I would never speak to a friend or a loved one. I wouldn't say to one of my friends, "What is wrong with you that you're not writing your book? I mean, aren't you seriously? You need to get it together." I would not say that to a friend. I'd say, "What's going on? What's keeping you from moving forward?" So I realized in that moment with her that I had been giving myself so little compassion. And when we give ourselves very small amount of compassion, then we can tend to feel very overstressed and overwhelmed. And, basically as if we might be failing everything, including God, failing ourselves, failing others, failing our expectations and hopes, and maybe even failing God. And so I was in that place and I was feeling haggard and tired and worn down. And I just had the Lord, even this is on my drive with my bad engine in my truck back home. Um, on that drive, I was again listening to a song that is just really doing a number on me. And the more I listen to it, the more it affects me. But in this particular song, it's called Coat of Many Colors by Brandon Lake. And because I'm Victory Lyric, we're going to talk about lyrics and how these lyrics literally pulled me out of a pit. Um, it says, "I was lying in a pit, but I'm walking the palace now. Because once I was a beggar, now I live in the king's house." That stood out to me because if we are exhausted and drained and feeling honestly kind of sorry for ourselves and irritable and so forth, then we're probably not realizing that the God of the universe chose us and we live in his palace and he is on our side and he does not need all of these things from us that we put on our own plate. He does not think of us like failures. He thinks of us as his beloved children who he has compassion for, who he wants to help along through the day. And I feel like when we're in that spiral of chaos and stress and feeling overwhelmed, I think we probably have taken back everything from the Lord rather than laying it down to him and saying, you're the king of the universe. I mean, certainly you can handle this issue and I trust you. And I choose to take a deep breath and just like rest in your magnificence, in your glory, because I'm not a beggar anymore. A beggar would be sitting there thinking to themselves that nobody is going to help me and I'm so stressed out and all of these things are happening to me and no one cares and I have to figure it all on my own, because that's where I was at. That's a beggar. But now I am a chosen daughter of the king. I live in the king's house. I've been adopted. I'm the beloved. And the song just reminded me of that. It reminded me that we are children of God. We are royalty. And so we are in white robes of righteousness, covered in his beauty, his glory, his power. And he calls me Victory. So Victory stands up tall. And she knows that her daddy's got her back. And her daddy owns a cattle on 1,000 hill. Her daddy is the king of the universe. Her daddy is the creator of all things. And he is a savior, and he is a provider, and he is the lover of our souls. And he is a God, a father who gives good gifts to his children. And a good gift is that of peace and rest. And it is for us to receive. I wasn't receiving it. I wasn't. I was thinking of myself as small and insignificant, and I was spiraling into a thought process of not enough. But I am enough because the daughter of the king is enough. And you are spiritual royalty, and you are his child. And even if things are swirling around you, we can be at peace knowing we are standing next to him in the king's house because we are his children and he has our back. And he is our protector. He is our provider. He's our healer. And he is there for us at all times. He's very present in trouble. So I just wanted to encourage you guys today. Encourage you to go listen to this beautiful song by Brandon Lake. And really just encourage yourself in the Lord if you're feeling drained and overwhelmed. And remember to give yourself that compassion and kindness and love that you need. Because without compassion for yourselves, if we're to love others as we love ourselves, without the compassion for ourselves, how is it possible we could have compassion for others? So let's start today with compassion for ourselves and gentleness and kindness, the kind of gentleness and kindness that God gives us. And then in return, we can give that out to others. But let's receive God's compassion for our hearts so we have it to give to ourselves. God bless you guys. I love you so much. And I hope that you are having a wonderful rest of the week. And we will see you at our amazing next show next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast hosted by Victory Lyric. It's our goal to inspire you to be all you were called and created to be. Join us next week as we showcase nationwide artisans and their unique stories. It's your opportunity to explore creativity with diverse crafts, recipes, and tutorials with practical tips for unleashing your artistic side. So until next week, God bless from your friends at the ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast and your host, Victory Lyric.